featured presentation. I've always wanted to do that.
What is it like living with cerebral palsy?
Sometimes it's been, especially musically, feels like you're locked in a cage. So you hear a bass line, but you can't play it. But you can't sing it. So, how do you deliver what's in your head if you can't articulate what's in your head? Me and Mark have always had this idea of creating a movie about how I make music, which is really interesting. And he told me he had this great opportunity, and I was honored and excited to work with him on such a project. The great thing about having a disability is you learn what others don't have to. So there's a company that creates software where it gives you a mini sequence that you can play in any key, any note, any chord progression. Most people wouldn't even look for this software. I waited years for this so I could write piano pieces. I've amassed a collection of instruments that allow me to input what I hear and get what I need back. None of this I would have figured out had I not needed to. I told one of the employees in the company I work for, my disability has made me a problem solver. The problem is people with disabilities aren't always able to enter the collaborative space because they can't get their ideas out. What my system allows me to do is enter a collaborative space as a producer with a structure, an idea that can be clearly articulated. And because of that, I can almost do anything through technology.
First thing I think is, this is decent. This is really decent, especially the part where it breaks down. Especially the part where it breaks down, it kind of gets that funky kind of. I can see that this becoming like, if this is what you said, hey, this is what I'm thinking from the maestro, and we build off of this, I can see this being built off of easily. Question I have for you is, what is the DAW that you use?
I use machine and Luna. Machine is this. It's a DAW connected to a hardware controller that acts like a beat machine. The thing that's so awesome about machine is it has, not only does the company have a ton of instruments that they sell, and I have almost all of them, they also work with a huge number of manufacturers. So I told them I like that pattern, so Melissa's gonna find me pattern.
Wow. So, so you're essentially taking the part that you like and saying, I saved that, but then I want to change the rest of it.
Right, so watch this.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I'm writing, it's still my music.
It's just you're customizing it for
Yes.
you.
Milton was probably, I guess, around 10 or 11. He started taking drum lessons and bass lessons from me. And it was really interesting. They asked me to help him out in that manner. And my thought was, what do I need to do in order to be able to have Milton come away from the lessons with something that he could use and something that was valuable? And he was truly like every other student. I would say, okay, did you practice? And his answer would always be, no, I did not practice. And I'm like, okay, you want to practice this thing in order to get better at it. And he tells me to this day how horrible a teacher I was and how mean I was, but we were going through a process of him learning some things. And in the process of that, I really learned that he has a lot of music in his head, and he's just trying to figure out how to get it out. Preaching was like the main thing he always had in his heart and in his head. He was always saying the things that he heard, always saying the things that he believed. His grandfather was a preacher, a great man. And Milton really took after him. So you would just see him always in that mode. And as he got older, he would, a conversation with Milton would inevitably turn into him giving you a sermon.
I am a preacher. I am going to preach. I'm not exactly a calm preacher. I will warn you now. I love the Word of God. I love preaching. It's like air to me. So I will preach it if it's all right with you. What happens when somebody with disability enters the church? Are they welcomed? Are they assisted? Are they ignored? Are they pitied? Are they even seen? Have you ever wondered why people in the Bible with disabilities are nameless? The woman with the issue of blood, the man on the mat, the blind man, the man by the side of the pool of Siloam. They're just there, but there's no name. What's his story? All we know about the man is he's in church and he cannot connect. He has a sensory issue. He can't sit and worship. His son is autistic and his son keeps crying out during service. He's blind and there's no Braille Bible. He has a hearing aid and there's no hearing aid system. which is the law, by the way. The church has the hearing aid system because it costs it, but ain't nobody enforces ADA. I know, and I know what everybody's thinking. Isn't he here to encourage us? That's what folks with disabilities do right there. Inspiration. They inspire us, right? Who are we centering if my job is to inspire you?
So you take this and then
I want to move that. So what's it doing? That's what I want to do. So I need to find another piece. Cause I want to go I want to reset it. Oh!
All right, it is 2 weeks after the first recording that we did.
We are getting the whole song very clean formatted. And if we're lucky, you're gonna record a demo of it. Surprise! It's healthy, underrated. Never got to participate and never cast it in
Understood, okay. Discounted, underrated, never got to participate, never got casted in the scene. Something like that?
I like that.
Let's build space into even the words, right? So if we go discounted, underrated, never got to, what's that? Never got to participate, never got to participate or cast it in the scene. Man, that sounds real Disney right there. Underrated, discounted, underrated, never got to participate, never got to participate, never cast it in the scene. Underestimated, never found my place in I've been underestimated, couldn't quite find my place. I used to believe I was no more than others could see. Ooh, wait a minute. The bridge could just be the two words, right? I used to believe I was no more than others could see. I believe, like, and you kind of breath that out. And then like have somebody else come in and sing, you know what I mean? Like have so one dude just going without me, the world. I believe I messed up.
No.
Write down I believe.
No, that was it. Without me.
Without me, the canvas of this world is not complete.
I can see creation is colored with diversity. And I dream that all can see beyond what they believe about ability, the gifts in me. There's more inside of me, 'cause I was formed by the hand that shape mountains, and by the hands that call the seas, and crafted by the eyes who saw my life and said, I am a masterpiece. You may think that I'm worthless, but I've been made on purpose, because I'm a masterpiece. There it is, man. That's it.
All right, in 2017, I was a videographer at a church called the World Christian Church. And they also asked me to be the young adult ministry leader at the time. And I said yes, because I was passionate and ready to do it, but I had no idea what I was doing whatsoever. On the interpersonal side, I can gather as many people as you need me to. I can bring in everybody and we'll have a good time. But on the more pastoral or biblical sense, my background is that my family have always been in church. My father is a pastor, but teaching someone about the Bible is a whole nother beast. And I did not want to take on all of that. In walks Milton Keys in spectacular fashion. We were in one of our Bible studies. I was teaching a lesson, and Milton is just going at me, man. We are arguing for at least like an hour and a half, debating about topics about the Bible. It was incredibly fun. That is what we do. Early on, we had that mutual respect for our intellects and our ideas. So it was easy for me to ask him to be my co-leader and lead the ministry and create curriculum and run the Bible studies or make sermons. It was also easy to ask him to work with me on some of the projects that I was doing, whether it be short films or ADR, anything that had to do with audio mixing. I would usually ask him to help me out in that capacity. And every time we started a Bible study, right? We started a Bible study with this mission statement. Now, this mission statement was basically that we are connecting young adults to freedom in Christ by actively building relationships. And it's not a statement that we just said to be cute. It was something that we had to exemplify even in our leadership for other people to believe and follow that same mission. And so we got to know each other. We got to hang out. We got to, go on trips together. We got to have deep conversations. We cried together, laughed together, all the things. We did it. And one of the things that I guess annoys me about Milton is that he feels like he constantly has to prove himself, even to people that he's proven himself to. And it's that right there that makes me feel for him, because I'm pretty sure he's not had too many experiences where people just said, yeah, man, just go be you. Yeah, I would just support you for being you. But what you'll understand when you get to know Milton is that to live a life like his requires a great amount of strength.
What's this?
Skip.
That's a skip?
Yeah, skip you.
Okay, skip.
Unto the
Well, that's right. Spread the wealth.
Remember that.
No. Ganged up against me, but I won, didn't I?
yeah.
That's terrible.
That's terrible. You should be proud of your wife.
We were blessed by God, 2 loving parents, God-fearing parents. They made sure to instill in us, the right mindset, outlook towards life. Make sure we put God first. And I got Milton as my older brother, and that's definitely a great example of how to put God first in life and just how to take the best out of life, no matter what cards you're dealt. One of the earliest memories I can think of that I can remember. I don't know how old I was. I'm gonna find the picture too, because we have a picture of this day. We were wearing suits to church. I don't remember what it was. It may have been Easter. And we both had sunglasses. I was probably like 4 years old, and he was X amount of years older than me, same amount that he is now, I suppose. But we took a cool picture where we're both kind of posed like this, and he was posed above me. So when I got married, I made sure I had sunglasses. I made sure we got our picture again. He's always had so many accomplishments, like as far back as I can remember. Like, so, you know, when he was 14 years old, I was 7, 8 years old, you know, and I can remember sitting in great banquets, award banquets. He's composed a whole musical symphony at his high school, like, and the magnitude of that, I didn't realize it at the time, but I still knew, like, this is a big deal. You know, like, I've got church clothes on. You know, in my kid mind, it's like, I've got church clothes and we're not at church. And then I'm seeing my brother who's gone through all kinds of mistreatment from people just talking down to him or all this. Little do they know, like, you're talking to a genius, like, you know, and if you finish the conversation, he's gonna make sure you know too. Our parents made sure that we both experienced life to the best of our abilities while seeing the most that they could provide for us, which I feel like is more than a lot of kids, at least that I was growing up around, were getting to see. And my brother was right there with me. It's not like, oh, we're about to go to the Children's Museum and do the dinosaur exhibit. We're only going to bring you because we don't want it. I literally have 0 stories where it was like, oh, we're only going to take you because if we went roller skating, he was roller skating with us. Like everything we did, it was as a family, you know. And I think that was what made, when I'm outside of my house, made it that much more of a desire for me to make other people understand, like, my brother's just a person like everybody else. I feel like I could never turn my back on God, not just because of how I was raised, but because I have physical proof of his realness right in front of me every day. I can just call my brother on the phone, and if whatever was going on in my mind, if I were to ever have a doubt, I am talking to my proof that God is real.
Tell me about my birth when I was born.
Now, that was something we'll never forget.
No. She went into labor.
And woke you up. And what did you say?
Well, I don't remember what I said.
Oh, no, you're not.
It wasn't time.
And we went back to sleep. It was very early in the morning. And then we woke up and we figured out, yeah, it was time.
Yeah.
And we called the doctor's emergency line. They said, go straight to the hospital. And we thought, oh, 3 weeks early. You know, they said that was close to being in the safe zone. So we weren't, I was a premature baby. So we didn't think that was too bad. And we laughed and talked all the way to the hospital. And we got into the hospital. And so he wanted to call our parents and say, we're at the hospital. It's about to happen, you know. And while he was on the telephone, the nurse came in and said, oh, the cord's prolapsed. And everybody came running in and said, you're going to have an emergency C-section and all this. Well, then he came running in and he said, what's going on in here? Because there's like 6 people doing stuff with me, prepping me for surgery and going really fast. And then they went running down the hall with me on the gurney. And he came running behind them.
Yes.
And they went into the operating room and they were trying to get me ready for anesthesia. And your dad
I
kept
was going
coming
in the room.
in there. He was in
That's
there,
right.
and they kept pushing him out.
And it was too much. It was scary. They were rushing your mother down the hall. I mean, it wasn't happening. I wasn't staying outside. So I'm going in.
That was very difficult because your coloring was gray from lack of oxygen. Your APGAR score, which is like a survivability score that they give when babies are born, that your APGAR score was 0. Also, they expected you not to live at all, and they told your dad that he didn't need to see you because in less than 2 hours you would be dead.
And that's why I was still getting in there. They kept pushing me out saying that, and that wasn't, I wasn't hearing it. I just was not going to hear that.
Everything was negative. A nurse told me she was going to take you from me because we were too young to raise a sick baby like that. And you weren't going to be able to do anything. And so we didn't know how to take care of that. And they all kept saying, you're going to be a vegetable. And this sounds like a sad part of the story. But this is my testimony.
Raising you and Martin was a joy for me. I mean, 2 little boys. I mean, what didn't we do?
There's not.
I mean, they said you couldn't, but we believed you could. And not only you, I mean, Martin believed he could do everything too.
Raising you at home was like raising 2 adventurous little boys because you both thought up stuff that was interesting and exciting, a lot of which you should not be doing, like little boys.
I don't know what I would do without y'all. I mean, it's, as a teacher, I know kids rise to the expectation. And when there's no expectation, kids don't rise. And this is helpful as I am so busy and that some more things I want in life that don't seem to be happening as fast as I would like them. This reminds me of what's happened. So being raised by you has been amazing. It's been rough. Y'all don't play. Especially they'd be like, no. No. But don't do it. Why'd you do that, son? Well, Dad, I thought that you should do it this way. But it always works out.
The canvas of this world is not complete.
Think of your comment here.
Got you.
Because the next part, you're going to be out gay.
Okay.
You feel me?
Got you. The canvas of this world that all can see beyond what they believe about abilities, the gifts in me. There's more inside of me.
I like it. The only thing, do you think we need a little more intensity on that last one? You stopped acting and started singing.
Yeah, I did. That's right, that part. Okay. The canvas of this world is not complete. I can see creation colors with diversity. Underestimated.
You like that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Alright, let's roll.
If you've been discounted, underrated. Sorry. Yeah.
I think the problem is you can't imagine me quitting, right?
Yeah. I think, yeah, that's that.
Like, for real.
Yeah.
You be like, that's funny, Keys.
Yeah, I think that sounds taken because I'm like, I don't see that, but yeah.
But these words are real.
Yeah, definitely.
You know who thinks I can do this stuff? Kim and y'all.
Yeah.
You know the recording program I run? Mm-hmm. I have music teachers tell their principals he's just a guy that thinks he likes music. Mm. He can, this is real. You know they talk. I'm not bragging, I need you to feel this. I graduated from college with no debt. Thanks to my dad, right?
Right.
The college wouldn't let me be a music teacher. The school said, go get your license from Marion. went into debt, got my license, and they never interviewed me. Now you've seen me teach. I was that good back then.
Yeah.
Well, almost. I'm better now.
Yeah.
And so we gonna run this thing again. I need you to imagine me quitting. Don't talk to me like this, because that's not how you get a message across.
Right.
Sing the song.
If you've been discounted, underrated, never got to participate, never cast it in the scene, maybe you're underestimated, can't find your place, please believe you are more than others can see.
You sound good.
Jeremy!
But also, I still think the C is not all the way there, but everything up to that, I mean, we definitely saw the feeling. You know,
Follow the feeling of it.
Yeah, you definitely feel the feeling right
Feel
there.
it.
Sing, boy! Sing, boy!
When Mr. Keys had contacted me, I immediately said, yeah, I want to be a part of this project, because at the time I didn't know what the project was about at all. I was like, I mean, yeah, just send me stuff over. I heard the motif song for Masterpiece, and I was like, I need to be a part of this. It was really dope being able to work with him and us collaborating together, and him and Mr. Keys being able to pull stuff out of me. And I remember Mr. Keys had texted me, and he said, go out of your body when you're singing. And for the parts that we were recording, like, I had never sang as much as I have seriously.
There's a catch. We need to sound like 800 people. We are gonna lay our 3 steps. The Indy, then Finalizing is gonna be done. Indy's gonna switch to soprano. My sopranos are gonna swap to altos. This tenor is going to alto. And we're gonna layer it so we have different textures.
Exactly.
The ladies that can sing tenor will do that on the next time around. So I said 5, I meant 8 more. Just work with me.
I was born, made, changed. All right, everybody, full out. 1, 2, 3. I was born, made, shaped. Oh, you may think that I'm worthless, but I've been made on purpose, 'cause I am. If you cannot hit that, that's too low, back out gracefully, okay?
I'm gonna direct this one, David. Without me, as airy as possible.
I can see.
That's it.
Now I dream. Ability, the gifts in me. There's more inside of me. I was formed, made.
Good.
You may think that I'm worthless, but I've been made
My name is Kim Kitty Green. I am the CEO and founder of the Indy Urban Youth Music Academy. I have known Milton for as long as I can remember. We always joke about not knowing exactly when we met or how we met, but we've always just been locked in with each other. Why hire Milton? You know what? It seemed like, why not hire Milton? When I first met him, it was almost like a no-brainer for me. And he had shared with me his experiences with employers and his experience with people viewing him as not able because of his disability. And for me, I always say, anybody who saw him other than able and only saw him as disabled didn't realize how capable he truly is. Milton is mind-blowing. He's brilliant. And he never ceases to amaze me. He's always pushing the envelope and raising the bar for everyone around him. And so for me, it wasn't even a question of, should I hire him? It was just like automatic. Like, if I don't hire him, I'm crazy.
All right, I'm a government official. I see someone like you. You have all the credentials in the world, everything I could possibly ask for, and then some. But because of your disability, I'm afraid that many of my students may not be able to understand you, or may not have the patience to understand, comprehend what you say. What would you say to that?
That sounds good, and that's a reasonable thought, except for the fact how you talk to my students. I have hundreds of them. I train teachers for a living. Those that I train do not have teaching background. Have you seen them teach? Because if you're prejudging their ability and they're not in the classroom, you're just prejudiced by definition. My problem with folks with disabilities, nobody lets them try. I've had so many interviews where I've been called and they won't schedule, or I've killed the interview and they say our kids won't accept them. What about the 300 kids I've been working with for 20 years? What about the 400 kids at this school and that school I've worked with? Why are your kids special? Because the fact of the matter is kids are more accepting than adults are. So if you teach them to accept, you teach them about difference, they never have a problem.
I met him through Kenny, Kim Kenny. She brought him in like randomly one day to one of our choir rehearsals. None of us had met him before or seen him before. She just kind of let him go like within the rehearsal, and we were kids. We were like, but we trust her, so we was like, okay, I guess this is a thing. And we were used to her coming in, playing the piano, singing, and he came in, he had his laptop, everything all set up, and he like played our warm-ups. So he kind of came in with like just a tad bit off. We were all kind of taken aback, but we were still open to it. So we sung along to the kind of like robotic singing. And then he got up, we didn't do something well enough for Milton. And he got up and he stopped us, and we were like, oh, okay, this is new to us. He made us do it again, and it did sound better, admittedly, but we were still taken aback. And then that was our first interaction, and then he just never like disappeared. He was like a substitute teacher that became like permanent.
I do have a chip on my shoulder because of my disability. Because when I was born, they said I wouldn't make it. But 2 days, then 2 hours, then 2 years, then they gave up. But I was born with this story about how people don't believe I can do stuff. And all through my life, people have not believed I could do things. preaching, writing music, homework, finishing high school, becoming a teacher. All these things someone has told me I couldn't do it. So I have a chip on my shoulder. I'm out to prove the world wrong. At the end of the day, we're doing this, not just to tell my story. When I am asked my occupation, I say preacher, teacher, producer. That's not a list. It's a hierarchy. So I am at my root a preacher. Sometimes I preach by teaching. Oftentimes my students, my older students, tease me. They're like, preach, Keys. What they don't know is I am. I'm trying to inspire them. Below that is producer. When I produce music or plays or movies, the idea is to teach or preach. So what I want people to leave with is not just Milton's story. Milton's story is good, don't get me wrong. But I want them to know that they're a masterpiece made in the image of God, that they're wonderful, crafted in the eye of someone that saw my life and said, I'm a masterpiece. You're a masterpiece. That is dope. I cannot wait for them to see it.
I've been waiting for this all my life. To be seen, to be heard, as I am.
But as I am, I have physical limits. As I am, my mind moves faster than my hands do. As I am, people can't see what I have to give. But there is something inside of me, a sound.
Quiet on the set. This is rehearsal. Milton Keys is on his way to the stage in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, bro?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm living life, doing good. Working on this track in the studio. I want you to hop on it.
How you doing?
You made it. So I'm thinking kind of like a Disney track.
Disney.
But like Disney.
Like Disney, okay.
So like we got acted out.
Discounted, underrated. Never got to participate, never casted in the scene. Have been underestimated, couldn't quite find my place. I used to believe I was no more than others could see. All this world is not complete. I can see creations colored with diversity. Now I dream that all can see beyond what they believe about my ability, the gifts in me. There's more inside of me. never got to participate, never cast it in the sea. Maybe you're underestimated, can't find your place. Please believe you are more than others can see. The canvas of this world is not complete. Creation's colored with diversity that all can see beyond what they believe about ability. The gifts in me, there's more inside of me. I was formed by hands that shape mountains, by the hands that calm the seas, crafted by the God that's so alive and said, I'm a masterpiece. You may think that I'm worthless, but I'm made on purpose. 'Cause I'm a masterpiece. Beautifully and wonderfully made. Ooh, yeah. Say I'm a masterpiece. I'm a masterpiece. Yeah. I'm a masterpiece. Look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself and say, I'm a masterpiece. I'm a masterpiece. Hallelujah. I was formed by the hands that shape mountains, by the hands that calms the seas, by the eyes that saw my life and said I'm a masterpiece. I'm a masterpiece. That I'm worthless, but I'm made on purpose. 'Cause I was formed by hands that shape mountains, by the hands that calms the seas, crafted by the eyes that saw my life and said, I'm a masterpiece. I'm a masterpiece. I'm worthless, but I'm made on purpose. 'Cause I am.
I've been called many things in my life: disabled, handicapped, different. But there is one that calls me more than these things. I am loved. I am creative. I am free.